Hi everyone, this is Vivek at navidlabs.com. Welcome back to another session of JIRA Basics. And before going to JIRA itself, let's talk about Agile process and methodologies. And today's topic will be what's Agile and Scrum framework, its roles, what kind of meetings we'll be having in the Scrum, what backlogs are, and how the reports will look like in charts, and what will be the end process of meetings and summary of Agile. So, Agile is kind of an approach followed by a software development teams, which usually consists of a collaborative effort to evolve the requirements, also the solutions, not just within the team, it's across the functional teams and between the end users or the customers. And what is Scrum? A Scrum is an agile process which allows to focus on delivering the business values in the priority or also in an iterative manner. And Scrum rapidly and repeatedly inspect the actual working software every iteration. So Scrum will be divided into different iteration. I'll come over to the process how it is divided in next slide. And also the priorities will be set by the business or the product owner, and teams will self-manage to determine what is the best way to deliver the highest priority features in a shortest period of time. And it also evolves in the next coming iteration how that can be delivered even better. So for every 2 weeks to a month, which is called a sprint, anyone can see a real working software and also decide whether to deliver it as it is or to continue for further feature enhancement to the next iterations. So this is a Scrum on a top level view. Say if I have a product backlog or a business requirements piling up even at the front, or we can add in the future as well as the iteration goes. And we will take some chunk of the backlogs, whatever possible within 2 to 4 weeks, which will also I will come to the framework how it will be done. So within 2 to 4 weeks, whatever can be done will be divided into sprint backlogs. And every 24 hours, that's every day, there will be a call which is called daily Scrum meeting. And after the end of a sprint, which will be a product which can be a deliverable product which is working, and it can continue to the next iteration or it can also be delivered as it is. And in every backlog, a product owner will decide the requirement priorities, whether it's a high priority or a low priority, or can we take this priority to a next iteration, or can we delete the requirement itself by talking to the end user or a customer. So sprint meetings will decide the priorities and also takes the chunk of work which can be delivered in 2 to 4 weeks. So now we will talk about what is the framework of the Scrum. So framework contains three major parts. One is roles. Who will take what position and what is his responsibilities. So product owner, scrum master, and team. Team is nothing but the team members working on the product. So I will talk about product owner in detail, scrum master, and team members, what their roles and responsibilities in next coming slide. After that, I'll be talking about the sprint plan from Scrum meetings. And next, I'll be talking about the backlogs. What are the product backlogs? How sprint backlogs look like, and how the report can be converted into a chart. And at the end, I will talk about the sprint ending, that is, review and retrospective meetings. So usually, Scrum adopts a overlap process instead of sequential process of development lifecycle. See, in this diagram, you can see the requirement starts first, and as well as design following up, and they all will be overlapping at a time, and everything will be ended. So at the end of the sprint, um, we can see a complete development life cycle is completed and the product is under deliverable condition. So let's talk about the product owner versus the scrum master. Product owner defines the feature of the product, decides what's the release date and the content should be, and he will be responsible for return of investment tracking, prioritize the features according to the market value and business requirements, and also adjust in every sprint meeting what is the priority and what features should be first and next, removes that everything, and he also accepts or rejects the work results of that sprint at the end of the sprint meeting. And a scrum master represents a management of a project, but is not a manager like previous management what was happening, tracking the finance, all those things. He will be responsible uh, like a shield to our team, and he will also be one of the team member who will be tracking the status, knowing what is happening between the team. Is there any bottlenecks that has to be taken care? What is the lesson learned? All those things he will be coming to know in daily scrum meetings. And he will be also be responsible for creating all the JIRA projects, Scrum board, uh, um, like what tasks are there, what backlogs can be. So before the product owner decides, Scrum Master will make him everything ready in front of him to show what is the work that is pending. And he will also follow the best practices, Scrum values. He will ensure the team is following it correctly, and he will also um, track the productivities. So that's the product owner and scrum master. If we want to talk about the team itself, so team usually it will be a small teams. If there is a large number of people, the teams can be divided into 5 to 10 people each team, and team can be cross-functional, naming QA programmers, UI designers, developers, architects, anybody in the team. And all team members will be self-organizing. They don't have their own titles, but it can be possible we can give them a title. And membership can change only between the sprints, not within the sprint itself. When we come to our planning, so we know our roles, what kind of roles are there. After deciding all the roles, when we start a sprint, like a first sprint in a Scrum process, all the product backlogs based on priority and between the members, it will be decided what priorities will be assigned to what sprint. And if the team is bigger, each team will be divided into 5 to 10 members of one team. So here, if in the diagram it shows A, B, C, D, there are 4 teams, and all synchronization will happen in daily Scrum calls. All teams will be there, and they will be saying what the accomplishment done. So daily Scrum call will contains a 15 minutes stand-up meeting, and it is not a problem solving event. It will only understand what is the bottlenecks, obstacles, problems within the team, and Scrum Master will be taking a call how to resolve it by contacting end user or the customer or within the team, getting help from the other teams. And the main three questions will be what will be the work done by each member and what will be done today and any problem he's facing in his productivity. So this is a sample of product backlog versus sprint backlog. Product backlog will only estimate, if possible, what are the time and everything and who will be assigned if possible, or it will be not assigned to anyone. And sprint backlog will usually contain the date at which it will be completed and whom it will be assigned, what will be the um, uh, time taken and what contents should be delivered within that. If some um, case, say TBD, meaning it the work is already allocated to all the team members, this is the extra thing what we have taken, estimated that one completes, we can allocate to them in the same sprint. For in case if it is not finished, and this will be going to a product backlog again. So again, product backlog in a sprint meeting will consider if those are priority, they'll be considered to the next iteration, next sprint. Once we have all the backlogs, tracking, estimation are done properly and productivity is also tracked in daily Scrum, we will know what is that we are completing and what is left. Are we reaching the track by seeing the burn down charts? And now we will talk about the closure of the sprint, that is a sprint review meeting between the customer end users, product owners, and all the software engineers, and with the management. Basically, there will be a demo which will be given, and also we will be knowing the architecture, whether there is a new feature or something that we missed, or how is the sprint closure or the product came to deliver. With respect to sprint retrospective meeting, there will be no other members like management, customers, product owners. There will be only team members, the Scrum team members, sitting together to understand what are the improvements that can be done, what lesson we learned that we can stop doing it, and what good practices that we can continue. It's kind of a feedback what we did in that sprint. To give a summary of Agile, like advantages of Agile, it's completely developed and tested features in a short iterations, simplicity of the process, clearly defines rules and roles and responsibilities. That's important. Increasing productivity, self-organizing teams, each team member carries a lot of responsibility. Improved communication using daily Scrum calls, combination with extreme programming. That is uh, the Agile process methodologies, basics, and here are some references to it. So, thank you. We'll see you again in next session.